Hi, it's me, Renee. I'm back. I decided to do the Reader's Problems book tag. It went around in 2014, so 5 years ago now. I love the Goodreads tags are older now. They look fun, so I'll do it. It doesn't really matter if a tag is old or new. If it's fun, I'll do it. Easy busy. Okay, so I'll just start the tag now. The first question is, how do you choose which book to read for your TBR? Personally, I'm a mood reader, so it depends very much. Sometimes I make TBRs for uh, a month or a week, but I never think you have to read that today. I have more I might read that around that time. And normally I read several books at once. I have one book at my nightstand, one book in my purse. I might have two in my nightstand. I might have one in the living room. And sometimes I feel like reading a chapter or two in the historical book I'm reading, and then I feel like after lunch I'll switch to the fantasy that I have in my room. So I'm just very much a mood reader, really. I do use the library a lot, so I'll read those books because you have to give them back to the library, so you can't just procrastinate with those. And other than that, I sometimes do buddy reads, so of course they have to be prioritized. And other than that, it's just completely mood really. Sometimes I'm in the mood for fantasy, I'll pick up fantasy and read it. Sometimes in the mood for reread, and I'll just reread that just randomly. Sometimes it's uh, been a long time since I read high fantasy or urban fantasy and feel like, huh, I want to read you. I'll just pick up a specific book. And other times, yeah, it just depends very much. It's not really a specific way of doing it. I don't really have a TBR jar. Don't really think that will be for me since I'm a mood reader. Maybe I'll do it in the future, but not now really. Okay, so book number two. Sorry, question number two. You're halfway through a book. Do you DNF it? You're not enjoying it. Do you DNF it or do you read the rest of it? Yeah, I'm one of those who DNF books. I don't really want to keep on going with books that I don't like at all. I might keep on reading books that I feel like, huh, I like one or two aspects of the book, but if nothing of the book interests me, if the plot bores me, if the character bores me, if the setting bores me, if the conflict is existent, well, then I'll just try to put it away, forget about it. And I actually am a lot stricter than halfway. I usually DNF book at 100 pages because I feel like 100 pages, when you read 100 pages in a book, more or less, no matter how long it is, you should you should have a sense of the romance, the plot, the characters, the setting, the conflict, the writing style. And if you don't feel like any of those things are interesting or um, interest you, if nothing of that makes you intrigued and want to read more, makes you want to read more in the book, well, I'll just put it away. I don't care reading books that don't interest me. If a book I'm reading and I feel like I have to force myself to read the next page, the next chapter, yeah, then I'll just put it away. Yeah, some books they have 2 3 pages where it's boring. But if the boring parts or uninteresting parts is the majority, yeah, then I won't finish it. No way. I might read 100 pages and then skim the rest if I'm reading it for a book club or if I for some reason have a reason to read whole of it, the rest of it. But I won't I won't read it attentively. I'll skim the rest, but I might skim it. Yeah. But most of the time, I'll just DNF books I don't really care for anymore. I'll just DNF that shit. Really, really. Next book. Next question. You're at the end of the year. and the Goodreads, your Goodreads goal, and you're not reaching it, do you change the goal, uh, or do you read a lot of books straight before the end of the year to catch up? Yeah, I usually just change the goal. If I'm in early December or November and I'm like 40 books from my goal, I'll just change it. Because often you won't have time to read 50 or 40 books by 2 months. So yeah, I suppose I could do like some people and pick up a lot of comics books and I love short books. I do read some of those, but for me, the Goodreads goal is more a way of seeing how many books I read in a year. And it's not like, well, in some, it's kind of fun to see, oh, can I read more than last year? But I don't really feel like I have to finish the goal. Like, if I just reach the goal 2 days before New Year's, fine. If I'm behind for a lot of weeks, it's fine as well. I mean, it happens. I don't really care that much. But yeah, I usually, if I end up falling behind on my goal around Christmas time, I usually change it to something much lower, and then suddenly I've managed it, or suddenly I'm just 2 books ahead, and I'll fix it. So yeah, I suppose you could call that cheating, but for me, it's not really cheating, and it's my Goodreads. That's how I do it. Sorry. Uh, so yeah, that was the question number 2. A bit babbling, but that happens sometimes. Uh, Question number 3. Nope, number 4. uh, what do you do when book covers doesn't match? When you have a book series and some of the covers doesn't match each other, or if the publisher decides to change the covers and you can't buy them all in the same cover. For me, honestly, I don't really care that much with book covers if they don't match. For me, I care more if I like the covers in all, if I think they're fun, uh, if I think they're nice. If a book cover is not matching, it's not that big of a deal for me. For me, the biggest deal if a book cover is ugly. I'm like, oh no, oh no. But also, if a book cover is ugly, I won't care that much really. What I care about mostly is what's inside the story. So honestly, yeah, I don't care that much. Like, if a book has beautiful cover, I think like, oh, it's so nice. I might pick it up and just look at it and enjoy the cover, also enjoy the story. But if the story is perfect and the cover is meh, I will just don't look that much on the cover really. But I will of course, as a lot of book lovers, I will try to get the most to get the cover that's the best as possible. So if there's a UK cover, Australian cover, and a US cover, and the Australian cover is the most appealing to me, I might buy that, even though it's the other side of the world. Uh, but if all the covers are equally nice or equally ugly, I won't really care. I don't care that much, really. I don't. Like, for example, some people they buy books just because of covers. I don't. I buy books. I might buy a book halfly because of the cover and halfly because of the story. But I'll never buy a book just because of the cover. That won't happen. It won't. So, next question. Who do you bond with over shared feelings in uh, your book interests? I use Goodreads a lot, so if there's something like I need to vent or rant about a book, like why did that happen, or when is this coming out, or something like that, I'll go to Goodreads. I might use a Goodreads group. I might send a message sometimes. I might just write a post. But yeah, I have a lot of activity on Goodreads, and I have a lot of friends on Goodreads who agreed with me. So I'll use that one if I want to vent or just gush about something I love. I'll probably use this one in the future as well. I mean, it's kind of point of booktube, isn't it? To rant, to gush about what you love. Yeah. Number 6. Next question. How would you deal with crying over a book in public if you do that? I actually have a fun story with this, or at least one. Probably have more than one. But the one that actually came to mind when I was thinking about this was actually in 2010. I was reading Shadow Kissed, the third book in Vampire Academy by Rachel Mead. I was reading it in airport in Finland on my way to Hong Kong. We were waiting for a plane. It was maybe half an hour before the plane left, and I was finishing in the last 2 or 3 chapters, my 44 chapters probably. And it's Shadow Kiss, so I won't spoil it. But if you read it, you know that the ending of that book is traumatic. It's so traumatic and dramatic, and just hits you right in the heart. And I was just sitting there, turning the pages, and like, my God, is this happening? Is this happening? And starting to just be more and more in the book, and feel sensing the rest of the world less, and just starting to feel the tears coming, and that what's going on? I couldn't believe it really. And yeah, actually, I don't think I like cried full on, but I cried a few tears actually. I think I cried a few tears before I went on a plane, and then I went on a plane, and then I just was just shocked and just sat there staring into air like, what's going on? How can this be? So yeah, but I didn't really dealt with it. I didn't really think I did because I was so much into the book. I didn't really think that much about people around me when I thought about like, why is she crying? What's going on with her? I didn't really think about that, and I wasn't really embarrassed. I think I was just traumatized, and just such into the story. I didn't really think about. But if you were in Helsinki in 2010 in the summer, you might have seen me, and you might thought, that must be a good book, or something's happening with that girl. Yeah, it was Shadow Kissed. But like, if I cry in public, I'll cry in public. I actually don't really get embarrassed that much because, like, if you cry in public, you're mostly so much into what's making you cry. At least myself, I won't really think that much about the person next to me. I'll just cry, and it's just pure emotion and reaction. And I won't really think that much about people around me, or like, should I be less emotional and stuff. I'll just do me. Really. Next question. A sequel is out, and you can't remember the events of the previous book. What do you do? Some people say to this that they usually reread a book before the sequel is out. Some people have answered that they read a summary on Wikipedia or something. Honestly, me, well, I'm lazy. I'm kind of lazy ass, and I love a lot of books. Like, I used to have like a bookshelf with my favorite books, but like one shelf. But now my favorite books is kind of all over. Some of them are here, some of them are there, and I love so many books, and I love to read. And I read so much. Like, I'm one of those people. Like, I love, I live and breathe reading. It's so much my life. Uh, I read books so much that rereading a book just because a sequel is coming out, a lot of the books I read are sequels, so I wouldn't really have time to reread them all before the sequel is out, really. And I'm kind of lucky because I actually have pretty good memory. So when I'm reading a book in a sequel, often either the first or second chapters reminds me, oh yeah, that and that happened, or sometimes there's a summary in the book. But like, I'll never really reread a book before. Sometimes I will. It's not like I reread it the day before and then next day read the sequel. Like I might reread it in the time before, but I won't do it all the time. And reading a summary, yeah, I don't really do that much either. Really, I just imagine. I just count on being able to remember what happened in a book prior, and 99% of the time I will. And 1% of the time I'll be like, oh, what's going on now? And then I might read a summary or something like that. Yeah, I'll probably just read a summary. I won't put away the book and just read a whole last book. I'll just read a summary sometimes. But for most part, it's not really an issue for me. Can't really say this. I've got a good memory. Lucky that way. So, next book. How do you tell people no when they ask you to borrow your books? Like in case they damage it or stuff. Honestly, I like people to borrow my books. As I said earlier, I love to read, but I'm also like I understand that even though books are my babies, I also understand that they're only objects, and I think this kind of has to do with like I kind of have to have gotten used to it because I've traveled so much and I've been so many places and like if I was supposed to if I had kept all the books that I ever bought and if I was supposed to be mad at all the people who lost some books, I would have no friends. Yeah, because I've forgotten books, places I've never gone to afterwards, or I've had to leave books behind because there's no more space in the luggage. And yeah, as I said earlier, for me, the main thing is the story, not the book. So, like, if sometimes I read a book and forget it in some place I won't ever go back to, or might go back to it, but years later, and the book is gone. Well, I'll just buy a new book. Easy peasy, really. I don't really mind that much. I mean, the story is a story, and you can often, most of the time, you can get a new same book, either used or new. So it doesn't really matter to me that much. I borrow my book away all the time. And hey, people, if you borrow away a book to your friends, then you have more space on your bookshelf for new books. I don't see why you don't want to do that. You always want more shelf, more space. You always do that. At least I do. Yeah. Next question: reading slumps. How do you cure them? I don't really have any uh, revolutionizing uh, revolutionizing advice or anything around that. But I would say, like a lot of other people, it depends on the on the Goodreads on the book slump. If the book slump is because you read a lot of bad books, then you might go and pick up a favorite of a old favorite that you love that you haven't read in a long time or that always works. Like for me, some favorites always gets me in a better mood, and some of my favorites doesn't always work. But some of like my highest favorites, they always put me in a great mood and I always just perfect any time I read them really. But some favorites are like, I'm not in the mood for you. And sometimes I am in the mood for them. But some of them I'm always in the mood for. So yeah, reread our favorites. You could also pick up a short book, pick up a comic book, pick up middle grade books because they are often easier and shorter to read. So there's still a lot of good story, but it's often shorter and easier to read through. So you feel like the achievement of reading a book, even though it's not 600 pages long and very complicated. It's a middle grade, so it's easy. It's out there. Of course, middle grade can be complicated as well, but you understand me. But also, if the book slump, you've tried these things, if you feel like nothing helps, then of course the age-old saying, just take a break from reading. Really, put books away, put books away, binge Gilmore Girls, binge your favorite series, binge a new TV series, uh, go to a lot of movies, watch a lot of booktube, just watch booktube and try to be inspired by that. That might help. But yeah, those are my reading slumps tips really. So nothing new really, but just repeating the same old advices, which I think often help. Uh, with so many books coming out each year, and new question, with so many books coming out each year, how do you pick which new books to buy? Honestly, with me, you might notice this when I do a bookshelf tour after some time. But with me, I honestly, I honestly love paperbacks more than hardcovers. Like I have some hardcovers, but I prefer paperbacks way more. And most books come out first in hardbacks, so I don't really buy the newest books. I usually buy books that are half a year old or 1 year old or something, and then they're not that new, but like yeah, so that decides if I want to buy it or not. And also I usually think about the price. If it's one of the newest books and it's pricey, I probably won't buy it. If it's a new book and it's not that pricey, I might buy it. And of course, if it's part of a series, like I need to read you now, or I need to read you, I've been anticipating you, I'll pre-order it or buy it. Yeah, so like impulse buys, I won't really do that much. Like the newest books, like if I want to think about the new releases, I'll think about what's cheap and what I can't find in the library. If I can find it there, I'll just borrow it there. But if I can't find it, I'll buy it in a bookstore. And other than that, it's random really. If it's like if I go to bookstore and they have it, I'll buy it. But not. And sometimes I'll pre-order stuff. But like, there's often a lot of books during a year I want to buy. But like, and then suddenly the week is coming. Like, oh, that book has been out. Oh, never mind. I'll just buy it in a few weeks. It's not like I always buy the books the day it comes out. But like, if I'm in the bookstore and it's out and I see it, I might probably buy it. But it's not like I buy all the books the day I come out. I usually just kind of buy them and buy them really. Yeah, the price and if it's there, I buy it. And that's more or less the reasoning behind it. Anything else really? How do you guys have other ways to choose which books to buy? Do you buy all the new books? Both maybe some people do. I probably never do really. And last question. How long do books stay on your shelf unread after you bought them? Honestly, that depends really. Like, of course, as I said, some books you buy and it's a new book and like it's part of your series, so like you have to buy it there and then, but read it there and then, or you're like, okay, I'm reading you pretty soon when I've read the other book that's prioritized. And some books they kind of like think, oh, you look fun, and you buy it and then just kind of forget about it. But I think most books don't really stay on my shelf that long unread. Maybe 2 3 years. I actually have one book. Can I show you? Poderosa. I got it from my mom. I think 10 years ago. When I was taking high school Spanish in high school after I've lived in Chile. And so I've read some books in Spanish, so I know to read in Spanish, and it looks fun. But I just kind of always procrastinate with it. I don't think I'll read it this year, but I might not. So yeah, it's actually been on my shelf unread for I think close to 10 years. No, not 10 years, but close to 10 years. 8 7 years maybe. So yeah, it's been a while. Other than that, I don't really think that there's any books that's been in that long. Maybe 1 or 2 years. But most of the time, I read them during the year that I buy them, or during the second year. It's seldom that they stay in there for a long time unread. But a few do. A few do. They just kind of become forgotten in all the books really. And yeah, that was the reader's problems tag. It's probably been done a lot. Probably I feel like tag people, but like it's been it's been around for a long time, and yeah, I'll want to tag people because if they want to do it, they'll do it, and if they don't, then I probably haven't done it, and yeah. But it's a fun tag to do, and yeah, I'll probably do tags in the future. Well, I will do tags in the future. Fun second tag to do, and yeah, a long one again. I think kind of think a love tag videos become long, at least with me, because of just babble and talk. Like a lot of them kind of naturally become long for me at least. But that's the way cookie crumbles. Yeah. This has been me doing a reader problem tag, and it's me saying Renee out.